Hey, have you guys ever been to Pound Town? I heard it's pretty fun. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé. This is season 6, episode 9, Backed into a Corner. Girl, there is a fly in here that will not leave me alone. Whew, backed into a corner. Do I even have a joke for that title? No, but I can tell you what this episode comprised of. A lot of fake, made up scenes. Let's start with the first and the fakest scene of all, Ashley and Jay. Okay, so in this segment, we take up where they left off, where somebody was banging at the door while Ashley and Jay are just trying to get ready and packed for Vegas. They go outside and realize that it's Natalie. Natalie has rolled up on her moped and she is banging on the door because Ashley has not returned any of her phone calls. She is upset and she's like, how have you let this man make you lose all of your friends and family? How have you let this man come between our 15-year relationship? I mean, I sat back and I was like, what do you mean she's lost all her family and her friends? As far as we know, everyone is still talking to her except for you. You have been the only problem. And now you've showed up at her doorstep as though Jay has been holding her captive and forcing her not to talk to you. You knock like you the damn police. I love that Jay was like, why you have to bang down the door? Like you couldn't just ring the doorbell like a normal human being. You have to knock and bang on the door like she's barricaded in the basement. Ashley comes out and is telling you to mind your own business and you're just trying to tell her how much of a cheat Jay is and how she doesn't really know Jay and how she's throwing her life away on Jay. And it is so dramatic because as we've watched throughout this season with Jay and Ashley, nothing of what Natalie is saying even is relevant. They seem to be fighting but working things out. They seem to be getting along well. I love the fact that we don't see no hide nor hair of Ashley's children. That's the whole other story that they're keeping private, which I absolutely love and think is really smart, especially with the way the cast is behaving with the fans this season, or the way that the fans this season are behaving with the cast. I don't know if fans have always been as obtrusive and direct and angry and crazy with the cast as they've been with this cast. I mean, they probably came after Anfisa like crazy. The Instagram drama is so crazy and out of control and stupid, and I just have so much other things to do with my life that I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm gonna even be involved in it anymore because it's now getting to a place of like, it's its whole other realm of drama on its own, which I'm just like, girl, I have to work. You know what I'm saying? I have my own life to contend with. I don't have to worry about these people who are making money. Anyway, so back to Ashley and Jay. So again, the fakest scene. I mean, Nicole is just, Natalie and Nicole. Nicole is just saying some crazy shit to Ashley. One of the things that she says that I find to be ridiculous was she was like, you know how they are in Jamaica? They tell them from when they're born that they have to get to the US. And I'm just like, what? I'm sorry, you know that many Jamaicans to be able to make that statement? And how is it that Natalie knows that Jay is a cheater and that Jay has cheated on Ashley? It's absolutely crazy to me. It's such a fake and false and fabricated story, and you can tell. Like, Natalie is not that good of an actress. And then they give her that shot of her driving off on that moped. That is crazy. Wherever she lives, it isn't far enough away for her to even entertain wearing a helmet. So, fake. And then they go to Vegas and Jace is like, oh, I need to have sex 3 times a day. And that's why men cheat. And because he's a black man, he needs to keep his blood pumping. And I'm just like, Jay, you're definitely like, just what? What? Not only are you young, you're just like an idiot. Don't put black men in a box that way. Black men are already suffering due to having unfair stereotypes thrust upon them, which can cause them to have low self-esteem when they're not as masculine as everybody is expecting them to be. So Jay, don't put those negative stereotypes out about black men. Thanks. All right, you guys, so that's all I have to say about that couple. Let's move on to the next couple. Let's talk about Eric and Leda because they're the hot couple on the street. So one, I think it's disgusting if Leda's claims that she has been getting death threats is real. I think it's disgusting and I think it's crazy, and I think that everybody who feels the need to personally DM any of the cast members, I think that they should just take a step back and think about why it's important for them to do such things, and you know, just to like maybe occupy your time with something else. Somebody told me that they don't even believe that it's happening, that Lada's just kind of making it up, which I wouldn't put it past her, but still, even, you know, we know it happens in general, so I would say I'm speaking on it in general, even if it isn't specifically happening with Lada. So we begin where it's supposed to be right after Tasha's been kicked out of the house, and for whatever reason it feels so untrue because Jenica is not there. Shout out to the person who told me what her real name is. Jenica is not there, and Lada is playing with Alessandro, which we've never seen. I didn't even know she liked to talk to Alessandro. And secondly, like, the house looks different and Lada's outfit is different, so that's a fraud. And then they set up this whole fake scene for Eric to come home and have the conversation of like, so tell me what just happened. So Lada basically just tells him what happened, how she went into Tasha's room even though she knows she wasn't supposed to, and she just saw all the mess and she freaked out, and when she saw Tasha she just blew up on her. Eric is just like, Tasha's an adult, time for her to move out, she can't follow the rules, consider it tough love. And Lada's like, yeah. And then we cut to a scene with Eric and his father going to get a haircut. It didn't even really look like he needed one, but you know. So basically Eric's dad is like making commentary about the fact that Eric had to kick out Tasha and how he doesn't like it, but he still supports his son and he supports Lada. And then Eric tries to like explain to his dad why it was important for him to choose Lada over Tasha, and it's because he says he loves Lada and that he considers Lada his teammate and he has to be on the same side and the same team as her, that he does love his family, but like he has to prioritize Lada and Alessandro because they're his new family going forward. And Eric's dad's like, yeah, but like, you don't have to. And then Eric has a confessional where he's like crying because of this decision he had to make, but he said he needed to make it, and it was a tough decision, and that no one who wants to have to make that decision, and it was really hard, but he made it and he has to stand by it. Very tearful. And I'm like, you are wrong. You don't have to stand by it. You did not make the right decision. You need to manage both people's expectation. You could have had that conversation with Tasha. You could have helped her move out. You could have apologized to her profusely while it was happening. You could put your foot down about your whatever and tell her if she really wants to go home that bad, to go home, and then she can come back when you have everything ready. Like, there are other things that you could have done. But this fear and her lording the fact that she's gonna leave you if you don't do what she says is crazy, and it's emasculating, and you've fallen right into the trap. Okay, so yeah, I just really call BS on that whole scene, and I think it was fake, and I think the kicking Tasha out, like, I'm confused. And then we have a scene with Lada and Tanya, and Tanya's trying to stick up for her kids, but she doesn't really know how to combat a personality like Lada's. Like, Lada's basically saying, I don't care, you know, I'm sad that it happened, but it had to happen. She's just a slob, she's messy, and I don't want to have to deal with it, and she's an adult, and Eric chose me, so your kids can come to the wedding or they don't have to. Like, it doesn't matter. It's really all about our family going forward, and I don't actually care about your family. And Tanya doesn't know how to like deal with that. She's just kind of staring. Like, I can see that what her intent to have this conversation or this confrontation was supposed to be like cathartic in some way, and like Lada just gives no fucks, you know what I'm saying? So how are you gonna have an argument with somebody who literally does not care, who has no like remorse or feeling about how she just treated your daughter? So I don't think Tanya was prepared for Lada's unbotheredness, you know? So then I was on Instagram, as I'm on Instagram, and it turns out that after this episode, Lada was working with some brand that pulled its partnership with her because of this last episode. Yeah, I think Lada is just like a straight up asshole. I mean, it was gross of Tasha to tell Lada that she just needs to go back to Jakarta and that she doesn't belong in the US. Like, I don't like that kind of sentiment, but I also think Lada's just an asshole. You know, like, I think that she's just somebody who like, everyone's over. We're all over her. Like, everyone on the internet, everybody in the show. Eric is the only person who likes Lada still. So the next couple we're gonna talk about, Olga and Steven. Okay, now in this episode, I just can't defend Steven anymore. I can't. I feel like he is voicing his inside opinions and inside thoughts. The fact that he's even considering taking Richie away from his mother is good TV, but bad for Steven and bad for his image. Like, how could you even entertain that? It's like, I kind of felt when he took little Richie to go into the embassy that he was just gonna take off. That I wouldn't put it past him to just like jump on a flight and leave. Because he's like, oh, well, he's an American citizen, so I can take him. And I'm like, but he wasn't born in America. Like, he's an American citizen, yeah, but he was not born in America. He's Russian. I'm confused about how it works, but I'm pretty sure that just because he has his American passport and has become an American citizen, that doesn't mean that Steven has the right to steal him from Russia and take him back to the US. So it really is ludicrous, and she's crying about it, and I wonder if he's saying it just for good TV. Did a producer tell him to say that? Because their storyline seems the most natural. I just am so worried. He had him for 3 hours, and he returns from the embassy, because I guess Olga couldn't go into the embassy because she's Russian and not an American citizen, so she can't even go into the embassy with her baby. So anyways, but my question is, like, what would happen? I don't know. What would happen if the dad wasn't there and she had to go get his citizenship? Would the dad need to be there? Why couldn't she go in? Did they make that up? Anyways, so 3 hours later, Steven comes back after he's gone into the embassy, and little Richie is crying his head off. Why? Because he misses his mother. Like, why does... And Steven's argument is that he doesn't want to miss any time with his son because his father missed time with him. His father passed away when he was 7. And I'm like, but you're going to be gone or separated during a time where Richie is not even going to know you're not there. I'm not trying to pull away from the fact that he's a loving father who wants to be there, but the answer is definitely not for Steven to take Richie. It's not. That is not the answer. And I know the answer might be hard. Perhaps Steven needs to figure out how he can stay in Russia, but the answer is not for him to take Richie. I don't get it. I don't get the logic behind it beside coming from a place of pure, unadulterated selfishness. The fact that they have a baby together is only going to help her K-1 visa, so he might as well just figure out how to get her K-1 visa. What makes him think that he has the right to take a woman's baby? And I feel like I'm being sexist, and I'm trying to think of a better way to say this without, like, being sexist about it, but, like, he was born in Russia with his mother. So if you want to be with her and this baby, or be around your baby, why can't you figure out a way to stay in Russia? Or look into it. Like, I don't know how easy it is to do that. I'm not just saying, like, it's so easy, but, like, the option isn't for Richie to leave his mother. Like, that's not the option. Not at 3 months. Like, I don't know when you're gonna have this conversation, but I don't think it's appropriate, especially if Olga and Richie aren't in dire constraints. If Olga is able to take care of Richie better than you would be able to take care of Richie in the US, the baby needs to stay with his mother. Period. Tell me if I'm being sexist. Let me know, men who, like, you know, or think, why am I so unfair? Like, tell me where I'm wrong. Another reason why Steven shouldn't have Richie is because Steven doesn't even know that SSN is social security number. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Kalani and Asuelu. Okay, so we start off this episode with them being very veiled about this bit of news that has come about, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. And then they reveal it, and it is crazy news. Kalani's pregnant. How old is Oliver at this point? 5 or 6 months? I'm gonna give him 8 months. I'm gonna say he's 8 months. Let's just be crazy and say that he's 8 months. Oliver is 8 years old. He's still breastfeeding. And Kalani is 5 weeks pregnant. It makes me really nervous that she's 5 weeks pregnant and she's telling everybody, because I just get really nervous about situations like that. Like, I just feel like you shouldn't tell me until you're out of your, like, first trimester. You know, whatever. But, like, I feel like this whole situation with Asuelu and Kalani, like, what happened to Kalani is that she was approaching 30. She was a virgin and she freaked out. And now she's 31 with 1.5 babies and a silly ass baby daddy. She tells her mother that she's pregnant, and her mother is flabbergasted and she's crying. Like, she's literally been crying since she found out, and she's frustrated with Asuelu because Asuelu doesn't understand why she's so upset about it, because he doesn't understand that it costs a lot of money to rear a child in the US. And she's like, oh, looking at him like, you know, I do love him. And I'm like, where? Why? What about Asuelu makes you feel comforted and, like, happy? I don't get it. What does she like about him? What does she like? What are we not seeing? I mean, he's a good guy, but, like, a good guy doesn't make a good father or a good partner. And she doesn't want to tell Kalani about it because she knows Kalani is going to be upset with her too. And I'm upset with her as well. Like, You're just making bad choice after bad choice. And then it's like, oh, do you think he got you pregnant because he wanted to stay or he wanted to solidify? I'm like, you allowed him to do that. Like, you were there too. It wasn't just him by himself. Like, you could take precautions as well. Like, there are options. I know that he doesn't want to use a condom, but like, why do you have to say yes then? Why wouldn't you do the thing that's inconvenient to make sure you don't have a child? I don't know. I don't understand those two frames. How can you not have meant to get pregnant, but then not done the things to stop pregnancy? The condoms, the birth control, and or the plan B. Now, I don't understand the correlation between breastfeeding and getting on birth control, so I'm not necessarily saying that Kalani should have gotten on birth control. I'm saying that if you absolutely did not want to get pregnant, you would then make him wear a condom. But somewhere in the back of your mind or subconsciously, it was okay. You were gonna be okay with this. Because otherwise, you would have taken every precaution. So the next couple that we're gonna talk about is Colt and Larissa. Okay, so in this episode, we have another fake scene, 2 fake scenes in fact, and then we have like a really awkward moment in the last fake scene. So where we start off is Colty is sitting on the couch with those sandals, and it just disgusts me to the maximum. And Larissa is upstairs in a cute little outfit, like a cute little yellow number with like a high-waisted black jean, and I was totally into it. And she says that she got so upset with Colty the other day and she threw the ring at him, and she regrets it because she loves Colty and she doesn't want him to be mad at her anymore. So right after the fight with John and Debbie, Larissa comes downstairs, and this is the point where he tells her she's gone from 0 to bitch and that she's not an angel and she's not perfect. So she sits down on the couch and she's like, you know what? Okay, Colty, take her your fucking ring and marry the woman that your mother like you. And Colt's like, it's not about a woman that my mother likes. And so from that, Colt is upset. He is apparently devastated. So much so that he's looking for one-way tickets back to Brazil for Larissa, because he says that ever since they got into that fight, she hasn't spoken with him, and he can't be with somebody who's that crazy. And I'm just like, oh God, fake. So then she comes downstairs and she's trying to apologize to him, and she's trying to be better. And she's like, Colty, what are you doing? I'm looking for one-way tickets back to Brazil. Are you serious? Yes. See? So he gives her the computer. And she's like, oh, Colty, I'm really sorry about the way I acted the other day. And he's like, you really hurt my feelings. And he's giving us his like tough man. He's going hard on us, okay? He is looking at Larissa with no love in his face. And she's there like, do you forgive me? I feel bad that I throw the ringy because I know it's very expensive and I don't want to injure it. And he's like, well, or also you mean you didn't want to hurt my feelings and make me feel terrible and break my heart? And she's like, yes, and that too. And then he's like, well, you know, you can never do anything like this again. If you do something like this again, then it's over and you're going back to Brazil. And she's like, Colty, no, I love you, Colty. I don't want to go back to Brazil. I wear my ring. I love it. I mean, I literally, this scene is so set up and so fake. So anyways, at the end, obviously he ends up forgiving her. So then the next day they go on a double date with Colt's friends, and it starts off really rocky. First of all, they take the bucket, which I don't understand why they end up taking the bucket, but then I realized that the cameras are all set up in the bucket, so probably that's why they take it. And Larissa's being a little standoffish, and we don't know why she's so annoyed. But they're all having conversation in the car, and all of a sudden, Larissa's like, Andrew, I have a question for you. Are American men don't give lots of compliments to their woman? And Andrew's like, well, you know, I give compliments to my wife, and I think American give compliments. And Colt's like, well, what are you trying to say, darling? What are you trying to say, sweets? Are you hinting towards something? And she's like, I don't know. But then you don't give me lots of compliments. It took me 2 hours to get ready today and you don't tell me anything. Then it gets awkward and silent in the back seat while Colty then tries to like defend himself. And they get to the spot, they get out, and she's walking 2 leagues ahead of all of them because she is annoyed and she just wants to eat. And then they get there before they go into the restaurant and they're talking outside. And she says, I had to take 2 hours to get there. You're not telling me that I look nice and I dress up for you. You want to have a sex for 24 hours. And then but you don't even tell me that you're nice, that I look nice at all. You guys, this is all out of sequence. I'm just going off the cuff of what I remember. So like, I know she said that in the car, but like, you know, roll with me here. And then Colt's like, but you don't ever think about me. You don't ever think about what I want. You don't ever think about the fact that I come home from a hard day's work of having to deal with people. And then I come home and have to deal with you too. And so anyways, it gets super awkward. I literally have to pause it a few times and like walk away because I can't stand these like fucking awkward situations. And I was also like, why are the friends just standing there? If I was the friend, I would have went in and been like, hey, it's gonna be a party for 4, but we're gonna let them have that conversation out there. I would not have stood there. So that's how I know that whole thing was fake. It had to have been fake. It had to have been set up. It was just so awkward, especially if she just decided that she was going to be nice to Colt and literally she turns around. The first opportunity she gets when they're around his friend is to freak out and start to complain about something. And then the wife of Adam, I think her name is Angela. I don't know, it starts with an A as well. It might be Andrea, maybe Andrew, Andrea, Angela. I don't know. She says, oh, you know, I think they're just different people. They're like fire and ice. And I go, thanks, girl. Thanks for that Game of Thrones reference. I know who you are, and I appreciate it. Finally, Colt says exactly what Larissa wants to hear. And he says that she's beautiful. He loves her lipstick. He loves the way it goes with her hair and her blue jumpsuit. In fact, he loves the pantsuit. And I was just like, okay, his compliment of her sounded really real because he was hitting on all the key notes that made her outfit look really cute. And so they get into the restaurant, they're seated, and it's the same waitress that he said that had nice glasses the last time they went to try cakes, and Colt kept his eyes down, looking left and right, not looking at the waitress, and Larissa was really happy about it. So then Larissa tells Colt that he did a great job, and she explains a little bit to the friends about what happened the last time. And then she's like, tell me what you guys think. Like, do you think I was wrong? Do you think Colt was wrong? Like, do you have any advice for us? And so the friends start to say, you know, it takes patience. It takes time to get to know each other. And you guys don't have a lot of time to get to know each other, unfortunately. And you do seem like you are a little crazy. You know, you're quick to get upset. And she smiles. And, you know, basically they tell each other that they love each other and that they find each other very sexy and that she has a big penis. But anyways, it was cute. And I really did appreciate like that little setup. It was fine. Like I ended up thinking that it was fine. It was so staged, but it was fine. We didn't have any Debbie in this episode, sadly, so I don't have any updates on her. So that's the end, I think, of this episode, you guys. I wish I had more energy to give you guys what I really want to give you. Thank you guys so much for watching this recap of 90 Day Fiancé. I truly appreciate all of your hard work. What am I even saying? How do I end this? Asuelu, girl, like how is Kalani going to marry Asuelu? How does he talk to her in real life? Because everything is just so hard. Like, what are his sentences like when there's no cameras around? Like, what are their conversations like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they talk about? I don't get it. All right, you guys, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.